All of this stuff has substance to it. All of our perceptions and conceptions have substance to them. We think these moments of massive, significant substance that might crush us. We travel right through them, sometimes coming out stronger on the other side. We're back with another reflection on the daily Vedantic, and today's episode is on famous words from King Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes, where he says, "Vapor, vapor, all is vapor." It can also be translated to vanity, vanity, all is vanity. Or some translations are meaningless, meaningless, all is meaningless, which is repeated multiple times in Ecclesiastes. The Hebrew word hevil, H-E-V-E-L, can mean various things, and many translations choose something like vanity, vanity, all is vanity. But many scholars think that the more appropriate translation is vapor. Vapor, vapor, all is vapor. Take any of these: vapor, vanity, meaningless. It is the reflection, the introspection of a king that was seen as the wisest of all kings. Later in his life, after a departure from his closeness with God, almost in a melancholic tone, the book of Ecclesiastes is a teacher, a king, and a wise person reflecting on this worldly experience. Vapor, vapor, all is vapor. Many might know that King Solomon was granted anything he asked for from God, and he asked for wisdom. He asked for wisdom and he got everything else. He's often seen as the richest of all of the kings in the Old Testament. And near the end of his life, he's reflecting back on lessons learned, the experience of going through the world, and he compares it to vapor. That's the closest that the Old Testament gets to the Vedantic view, that this is Maya. This is all an illusion. This experience being illusory, it's not that none of it is happening. It isn't real, but as is said by the masters, and Swami will touch on this, you can't really say it's unreal. Like the dream, it isn't real, but there is something happening. It might be a misperception, thinking it's the world and it's multiple people. And it's a misperception, an appearance that does not reflect the reality of multiple people or multiple souls or individuality or plurality. Similarly, there is something happening here. And the word that's used, most ancient texts, is superimposed. We superimpose our meaning on top of it. We superimpose name and form on top of it. You can't really say it's nothing. It's more like it's infinitesimal compared to the infinite, which is more or less a made-up word to convey unendingness that we can't conceptualize. Infinity is not a number. We talk about it as if it's the greatest of all numbers, but it is not a number. It's just a concept, a placeholder, a sound we make out of our mouths to convey something that we cannot conceive. None of us can conceive of infinity or eternity. Similarly, infinitesimal is so small. Imagine 0.000, infinite number of zeros, but not quite zero. There's a one right on the other side of the infinite zeros. The infinite and infinitely expanding 0.000 zeros infinitely expanding and a one right on the other side. That is infinitesimal. It's so small, conceptually it might as well be zero, but not quite. It's kind of like vapor. You see vapor off into the distance and maybe think it could be a mountain. But you get closer and closer, and it is the polar opposite of a mountain. Instead of something of massive, significant substance, it has barely any substance at all. That is the illusion. It's thinking all of this stuff has substance to it. All of our perceptions and conceptions have substance to them. And with clear eyes, we get up close and we see that they are but vapor. That problem that we think is going to be so existential at work, that hard conversation, waiting to see if you're going to get that job or if that person's going to like you back, waiting for the diagnosis from the doctor, for yourself, for a loved one. We go through our entire lives thinking that our well-being, our existence depends on things going a certain way. And oftentimes they go the opposite way, and yet we're still here. Many times better for it. We think these moments of massive, significant substance that might crush us, we travel right through them, sometimes coming out stronger on the other side. Vapor, vapor, all is vapor. What a line. A line that maybe only a really, really wise king can say with confidence. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.